yeah, 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 buddy. Yeah, buddy. What's up? What's going on? Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to this Monday edition. BS with Hannas. That's me. I'm Nikki Hannas. I'm out here on a Monday morning, starting the week off. Brand new week. Yeah, this is my little morning talk show. The whole premise of it, I like to wake up and take a nice walk, read some good stuff, talk to the people. Once I'm done talking to the people, see what kind of message I got for the people today. Go out and hit the gym. It's Monday, International Chest Day, so bench presses will be done. Chest flies shall be done. Triceps shall burn, so on and so forth. And then after that, I go about my life and go to work. Let me check the audio real quick. But yeah, so this is what I like to do in the mornings. You can find my music. I make music. I'm a guitar player. That was some of it. You heard it in the intro. NikkiBehannas.com, NikkiBehannas.bandcamp.com, Nikki Behannas on all streaming services. I would recommend checking out the Bandcamp right now. There's 2 new releases on there that have not made their way to the streaming services yet. CD Baby is the site that I use to aggregate all my music on streaming partner services. CD Baby has a new thing called Fast Track, where you can pay X amount of dollars to speed up the process from submission to being hosted on streaming services. I neglected to pay for it. It seems as if CD Baby is taking way longer than it previously had taken, but I digress. That's okay. Let me check the audio real quick just to make sure. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we good. But yeah, I got 2 new EPs I put out in the past 2 weeks. One of them's called Get Up Out My Way. The other one is called Man I've Been. They're both available at NikkiBehannas.com and or NikkiBehannas.bandcamp.com. Some acoustic blues and shit. But yeah, so that's what's up. That's what I'm fucking doing. It's a Monday. Yeah, and I'm still thinking about the events of last week, man. Like I mentioned the other day, I'm finding my musical pursuits on a good day. That's like the most important thing to me, to use my creative gift that I was given to create things, to put it out there, to give it away to the world. I find that on my good days very important. But I can't fucking lie, man. This the public execution of Mr. Charlie Kirk, it's fucked up. It's got me feeling heavy. It's got me feeling serious to the point where it's not so imperative for me to really like care about putting music out. I'm still gonna do it. Like that's what I do. Life goes on in the wake of horrible things. This is just the most modern version and iteration of horrible things that we got to deal with. And it's not like I knew the guy, but it's an escalation in the social realm that really is just not sitting right with me. I was talking with my buddy about it last night. He told me the same thing. Basically, he wasn't expecting to be as affected by it. But as something like that happens, we have to make sure not to react with our gut and our immediate feelings about it. We can't be emotional and impulsive just watching horrible shit happen, of which there is no shortage. Of which there is no shortage. The one young buck that came into work right when the event happened, he's like, yeah, I went on Twitter and first thing I did was very first thing I saw the video, and then right under it was some porno. I'm like, yeah, like this is the result of compounded years, if not decades, of psychological warfare, and that warfare is being waged on us. What I said the other day too is that everyone talks about Civil War, everyone talks about World War III, and it's like, dude, we're in it. This is the symptomatic element of it. It's just more apparent now. And in light of it, it's like, how do you take a tragedy like this, and is it wrong to make it about ourselves, I suppose? Like, how do I fit in the grand scheme of all this, all these things that are going on? I don't think it's necessarily wrong. I think it's the natural and appropriate response. This is stoicism. This is observance of things outside of our control, way, way outside of our control, and using it to sculpt our own perspective on our own lives and our own actions, our own positioning as it is. and how to make it into an appropriate one. What do you do in the wake of this kind of stuff? And like I said, I feel more serious. I feel less playful. And I know I have this, I mean, there's a couple people in the chat. If you know me, I'm not always super playful, but I'm not so damn stone cold serious all the time either. I like to have fun. I like to laugh. I like to make jokes. You know, I don't have as much of that anymore. Not in a dramatic way, but it's just like there's a real holy shit kind of thing going on. And there's a couple like, again, this event happens and we want to jump to conclusions right away, but you cannot jump to conclusions right away. You have to wait for processes to happen and truth to come out eventually. It doesn't happen instantaneously. The problem with waiting for truth to come out eventually is that you can't trust the people who tell you the truth. You can't trust the motherfuckers out here who profess to have the truth and they will give it to us. I, I'm not alone in this, but we don't trust motherfucking nothing they tell me. Why should we? They've been the powers that be, manipulative liars with a track record that just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. You don't fucking listen to anything they tell me. They found the guy who did it. I'm not so sure that I believe that. This was his motivation. I'm not so sure that I even believe that. Mental warfare, psychic warfare, psychological warfare. How do we navigate that? How do we navigate the uncharted waters of it? And if there's a heaviness to be felt, how do we mitigate feeling that heaviness for what it is, feeling it in actuality with honesty, and not letting it turn into, despair, not letting it turn into fear, the real negative shit, the real bad stuff, the stuff that screw tape and wormwood try and get into your brain, because then that sets you off that sets you down the wrong path, man. That fucks your whole shit up. And then you end up right where they want you to be ended up at. It's no good. It's no good. But there's a couple key takeaways that I've come to in all of this as we wait for the truth to come out. Because here's, like I said, you can't trust the truth that they give you. So you have to go to alternative sources. In my world, as a crazy conspiracy theorist for a long time now, shit, I knew the world was flat back in fucking 2019 or something. I found that shit out. 2018. We forget in the mainstream political theater where this horrible event kind of exists in, we forget things from 5 years ago, let alone 6 years ago, let alone 7 or 8 years ago. We forget the long laundry list of increasingly extreme rhetoric that begets a situation like this, to the point where there's if Charlie Kirk's job was to be a debater and a professor of ideas and to get out there and discuss things, that's what he did for work. Turning Point USA it's a mental business. It's an ideological business. There's no way around that. It's a political talking, discussion based endeavor. And he was publicly executed on the world stage. You can't extrapolate it. It wasn't personal. It couldn't have been personal. It's not like Charlie Kirk did something wrong to the guy who shot him. This wasn't like an eye for an eye. You took my girl or some dumb shit like that. No, 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 no. This is purely, in my mind, ideological. And we watched free speech get shot in the throat. The symbology of it is fucking just powerful. It's telling. It's unsettling. But we move forward. It's a new week. It's a new Monday. Not necessarily a fine Monday here on the BS with Hannas show, but it is a Monday. And there are things to be done. And we have to keep going forward and doing it. Not react emotionally. A lot of people are saying, as people are digging into it, let's just assume the truth they tell us is horse shit. Let's just assume that. So then as the alternatives to alternative media start digging into respective rabbit holes and start looking at things and cross-reference things, I gotta respect the conspiracy dudes, the good conspiracy dudes, not the impulsive reactionary, I told you so. Not those fools. No, no, no. But the ones who do their due diligence, because they look at details. And we should all be advocates of the truth, right? I think we should all be advocates of the truth. And if there's the shadowy, hidden hand, conspiratorial veil of deniability shields and networks and obfuscations and all that involved here, it's going to take some time and for people to figure that stuff out. So I'm watching it. I'm paying attention. I would like to know who's to blame and why and what the unintended consequences of this one is. Because a lot of people are pissed off about this shit. A lot of people are very, very, very pissed off, rightfully pissed off. I agree with the rightfulness of their being pissed off. Motherfuckers getting pushed and pushed and pushed. But I've talked many times about perceived righteous indignation and how that sets you off. And that's not a position of fence sitting. That's not, moral ambiguity and ambivalence and apathy on the subject. It's just trying to be wise. It's trying to be wise in how we handle these things. Because if everyone's pissed off and then we're set into a series of cascading reactionary events, everybody fucking loses. Everybody fucking loses if that shit happens and is left unchecked. And I'm very hesitant of that, very vigilant of it, apprehensive about it. It's like in Game of Thrones, man. It's the Battle of the Bastards. Ramsay Bolton knew what he was doing when he set Jon Snow's little brother running across the field. He trapped him. Which set Jon Snow's army on a fucking bad leg moving forward. You give in to what the manipulators want. And if you don't master your mind and your emotions, they master you. I've been listening to a lot of people on YouTube give their thoughts and concerns and, reactions to this event. Because this is major fucking history. I believe. I think this is major history that we just lived through. In the past, the past 10 years have been major, major history. Nothing is casual right now. I don't think any of it's casual. But it's amped up a little bit. The volume has been turned up. The gain, the feedback of it all, it's more intense. So I'm just trying to think of, what's the wisest way to consider this? If I find myself thinking about it, not wanting to ignore it, not wanting to to make it trivial, because this is not trivial, I don't think. But I don't want to minimize it. I don't want to participate in the silly point for point, tit for tat. I'm not going to go out and argue on Facebook comment sections about it. But I will read the idiots who do, so I can kind of see where people's minds are at it. One side is extraordinarily pissed off, rightfully so. Extremely rightfully so. The other side is cherry picking a man's 15 years worth of his work was talking. What I'm doing now, just riffing on ideas, this dude did for a living. So there is no shortage of things to go find examples of that you dislike. And when you find X amount of examples that you dislike from somebody, you can ride those into the dirt, ride those 5 or 6 different talking point things, decontextualized, hyperbolized, dramatized excerpts, quotations. You can summarize a man's whole life's work in 2 sentences, and then rightfully, in your mind, bang the drums of war, galvanize, and rally around these things. And you can justify motherfucking anything with that. Orwell talked about this. He called it the 2 minutes of hate. The 2 minutes of hate is never ending. The war was not meant to be won. The war is meant to last forever. It's Oceania today, East Asia tomorrow, motherfucker. It's fucked up. So we got to be aware of it. Biggest takeaways I have is that there's two big takeaways applied to a personal life. What we do as individuals, I think. And then an overarching point that I think is hopeful for society. The overarching macro point, I think, lines up with what I'm reading as I'm reading this book, Anti-Fragile. This is the black swan event that Taleb writes about. The black swan event is the unexpected, unanticipated, random, disruptive event. And at scale, the massive disruptive event, it will demonstrate if things are fragile or robust or anti-fragile. The fragile things, when hit by a black swan event, crumble, they fold, they destroy themselves, they suffer under the weight of their own fragility. Robust things kind of take it, soldier on. Anti-fragile things, they get stronger, they absorb the blows, they get better through adversity. And it's funny thinking about adversity. A lot of people in the self-help world and personal development world, of which I am enamored. We talk about adversity. We talk about introducing adversity into our lives to mimic the necessity for when it comes in uninvited. This is uninvited adversity for a lot of people. These are trying times, as the saying goes. So we'll really see how motherfuckers are, if they talk, if they're just talk and talk, or if they're going to walk what they talk. It's a big opportunity. The silver lining of it is a massive effort in anti-fragility, becoming anti-fragile, stronger, better through adversity. And overall, despite the horror of this shit show in our fucking bleeding, sick country, these fucking people that are celebrating it, it's like these fucking people. There's a lot of people saying it, and I tend to agree. It's demonic. It's demonic possession. These motherfuckers are celebrating. It's not even like a tacit, quiet, unacknowledged approval, but it's an outright celebration, a cause for an output of joy. And like, who does that? Yeah, I mean, like, who does that? Well, what if they would have successfully built gallows and hung Mike Pence on January 6th? It would have been a horrible thing, too. I'm sure some people would have felt it to be a noble endeavor. I find it all to be fiction. That was never going to happen anyway, you fucking idiots. But that's just my opinion. It still would have been terrible. It's terrible, even optically. Even and at the end of the day, when it's a real event with real individuals magnified to this massive scale, it's all symbolic anyway. It's all in the symbol realm, which to me points to it having to be a manifestation of the spiritual realm. It has to be. When the physical and spiritual meet, we get the symbolic. Getting his throat blasted, free speech blasted in the throat with a high-powered bullet. No one really has any answers yet, but that's just it. But that's what I think. That's the only real silver lining, is that such a shocking moment kind of pushes people to that point of either reactionary bullshit or introspective and applied usefulness to oneself. And if the multitudes of people course correct themselves, then you get potentially millions of people doing better, working more ardently towards a better thing, doing their own part to contribute to the whole. I find that to be a silver lining. And for me, it's like, whatever happens, my head's on a swivel, I guess, at this point. And whatever happens, we got to just meet it when it happens, where we are, when it happens, whatever it may even fucking be in the first place. To me, it's like, I'm still doing 75 hard. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing, even with the music. Just because I don't feel enthused, I still got to do what I'm doing, and I got to do it well. When I get to the gym and I work out, I got to work out a little harder. When I get to work and I'm serving people in the burger joint, I got to serve them a little better. If I'm interacting with people that I work with or that I'm serving, I really have to mitigate my fucking agitation and irritation and short temper. I really have to mitigate all these fucking things in myself, because the world don't need more of that bullshit. And even as I muse often on here about like, why am I so triggered? Why am I so irritated? Yada, yada, yada. It's like it pales in significance to this. I mean, Momento Mori, motherfucker. Just like that. Life is valuable. Life is done. A very fragile thing. Just out of nowhere, So what am I fucking doing with what I'm doing right now? Sometimes it takes hard things to really learn that, going from theorizing and existing only principally in thought to, holy shit, this just happened, but I'm stuck on the deep fryer. I'm feeling a type of way. These better be the motherfucking best fries I ever put out. Thank you for your business, sir. Enjoy your lunch. It has to fucking escalate like that to me. That's my honest response to it. And then the other response I have to it is to look at all these ghoulish, fucking negative, nasty, fucking disgusting people celebrating this shit. And any parts of me that I see mirrored in these types of people, those parts of me have to be eliminated. They completely have to be annihilated from me, because this shit's it's different than I ever seen it, man. It's completely different than I ever seen it. But there's a lot of things I don't know. This is just my opinion on the matter, of course. What do I fucking really know? I'm a guitar player who works in a burger shop, but I'm out here on a Monday discussing these things. So that's my message for today, I guess. We all gotta do better. We all know that anyway, but here's a fucking real good reason. Here's a real good fucking reason. Cause shit ain't no joke out here. Shit ain't no joke out here. I've long said politically, trying not to be too political, but I've long maintained that even if these people view me as their enemy, I don't view myself as their enemy, and I don't view them as my enemy. I'm double thinking a lot of that in light of this, in light of what I'm seeing. So it's that old principle: expect the worst, but look for the best. Act appropriately in one's own endeavors as we get there. So yeah, past the 20-minute mark. It's a Monday morning. Hopefully, y'all have a nice day out here. We start this new week. Let's fucking get after it. Get some. So on and so forth. Appreciate you hanging out. Nikki B. Hannas, that's me. This is Good Morning B. Hannas on YouTube. BS with B. Hannas is the channel. It goes out to Spotify podcast, Apple podcast. You can find it there. I got music. NikkiBHannas.com, NikkiBHannas.bandcamp.com, Nikki B. Hannas on all streaming services. I write a little bit from time to time. You can find that at NikkiBHannas.substack.com. And if my mission is to share the elements of my life that have been helpful and unhelpful, share it to the world, hopefully fucking ripple effect that shit out, make the world a bit of a better place, make myself a bit of a better person, make people think and kind of help themselves become a little bit more than they were before my stupid ass with sunglasses showed up. That's the mission. If you want to support the mission, NikkiBHannas.com or Patreon.com/NikkiBHannas. You can be a friend of the Hannas if you want. Anyway, happy Monday. I'm out this motherfucker. I done wrong. Keep it real. One love. Peace.